All right, here we are on Mr. Dave's Cadillac DTS. I got the coolant pressure tester on. I've hand pumped it up to about 18 psi. Now look at that puddle we're getting right there, so we know the leak is somewhere over here. I can't quite see it from the top side, so we're going to take it up in the air and see if we can find it on the bottom. All right, straight away, that's the radiator. My light on? There's my light. So you can see it running there. It's running down there, running off the bottom of the radiator up in there. Yeah, that radiator's cracked, but what's leaking over here? We also got a leak right out of the thermostat. Oh, it's right where that line goes in up there. I don't know if you can see it. It's way up at the top on the thermostat neck where the line goes in. It's running down the side and running right there. So we got two separate leaks. Jeez Louise. All right, well, at least we got them sorted. Here we are, it's day 2. I ordered the radiator in yesterday. It's showing up today at, I think, around noon. So we're gonna go ahead and get this radiator yanked out of here. This is not a small task. It's not a crazy task, but it's not a small one. Step number 1 is going to be to detach the AC condenser from the radiator and hopefully get some room to pull it forward. Then we will drain the radiator, remove the upper hose, try and get the fan assembly off of it, get all the things detached from it, and try and pull it out of this hole right here. That's the hope. The repair guide said we need to evacuate the Freon and recharge it. I'm hoping we can get it done without doing that, but we may indeed have to. But step number 1 is we need to get this like front rad support bar out, this plastic one right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull all the push pins out of the front bumper here. You should have extra ones here that he's missing. So we'll get all these out and we'll try and slide this forward just a smidgen, and then we'll start pulling the bolts out. All right, so now with this, I think we can pull the bumper back just enough to fetch this out of here. So what we need to do is there are 2 10 millimeters on each side in these holes here. Is my light even on? Oh, it's not. Yeah, so you got a 10 mil there, a 10 mil there, same on this side. So that'll get it off of this bracket here, which we'll be removing later. And then a 10 mil on each end point as well. So what I did notice, which I haven't caught before, is these are actually loose. Probably from when he got his engine changed at a different shop. They never tightened them, but they haven't fallen out, so that's good. So we'll take these 4 out here, and then we'll take these 2 off at the end, and then hopefully we can fish this entire bracket out of here. Hopefully you can see this, but with that off, I'm hoping to be able to flex this bumper back just enough to finagle this out of here, which it seems like we're going to get blocked by this support bracket up here. So we're going to unbolt the hood latch from it, which is 3 10 millimeters. We got one here, one here, one here, and we'll let this puppy just hang down, and then we'll get under the car to unbolt the bottom of this, and we'll take this bracket out, and then that will allow our cross member to come right out. And here we are. So here's the latch, so you can just let it hang down here. Just make sure it doesn't bang into the AC condenser and bend a bunch of fins up or anything. But I'm gonna take it up in the air now. We're gonna try and get to the bottom side of this bracket here. All right, and here we are on the bottom side. You'll see there is 2 10 millimeters, one there and one there, that connect the bottom of the bracket. So I'm gonna get those out, and then we'll go back to the top side and try and get the top side of that bracket off. All right, we're gonna hope this works, but you have the 10 mils up top, and we're gonna hope there's enough space to fish this bracket out of here, because it will, this is gonna be the one thing where if we can get it out, we're good and we're home free. If we can't get this out, we're gonna have to pull the whole front bumper and the bumper beam bracket. So hopefully this puppy can get fished out of here. But let me get these out, and then we'll see what we can do. Well, this is a bummer, but it's not the end of the world. There is just not enough space or wiggle room for this bracket to come out the way that it's squeezed in here. So this whole front bumper is coming off, and then the bumper beam's coming off. Then we can pull these components and start working our way in. So let me get it up in the air, and I'll show you how to detach the bumper from below the headlights. We'll probably end up having to pull the headlights too, even though I just pulled one and fixed it first. All right, I'm gonna show you how to detach the bumper out here on the passenger side, and then I'll just go do the driver's side afterwards. But you're gonna wanna pull out whatever push pins you have on this side. There may even be some screws. His wheel liner's a little busted up. That's kind of common, but we're gonna get all 3 of these ones out right here. And then we will fold this wheel liner back to get access up underneath this side. All right, here we are. Push pins are out. We folded her back. So you're gonna want to come in here. This plug right here is for the like fog light turn signal assembly on the bottom. You lift this tab I'm pulling up with my finger and just pull it apart. Hopefully I can get that with one hand. I cannot. Give me 1 second. That's out. That separates the lights on the bumper from the harness that stays on the vehicle. And then you're going to come up here. There's a 10mm bolt right here on the end and a 10mm nut on a stud right there that have to come out. And then this whole thing can come slightly forward and come down. All right, so with those two, with the bolt and the nut out, you can kind of come forward and come down just like that. So now we need to go free up the other side, and then all we need to do is find the harness for the parking sensors up front. We'll get that disconnected, and this whole puppy's ready to lift away. All right, I got the driver's side free. So now if you come up under here, right on the passenger side, here's our harness for the parking sensors. So sorry, I had to hold the camera in my mouth. That was gross, but yeah, if you squeeze with your thumb here, that comes out. And now we should be good to pull this front bumper off the front side. Woo! Come up to the front right here. Just grab the front side. Carefully work it back. Making sure the sides are free while you do it. Just like that. Voila! Our bumper is off. Now we will set this somewhere carefully where it doesn't get damaged. You know, you work on stuff enough, you whine about these kinds of things, but really that's not too bad of a task. Now we can take this piece out. Yay! We still will not have the clearance to remove this upper bracket though, unless we take off this bumper beam. Whew. Alright, for the bumper beam, we got these little slots made into it with 13mm bolts on the back end. So we got 4 on each side. We're going to grab an impact, we're going to shoot those out, and this whole beam will come forward, and we will set it to the side over the yonder. All right, we finally have exposed our bracket for removal. We do need to get the wiring harness off of it. These are the style of clips where you're going to want to come in with needle nose pliers and squeeze from the back side to release them. I see that one side was already broken once before, but just like that. Bam. Now this should be able to come out somehow. Damn, it's still, oh, there it goes. There it went. Woo! There's our condenser. All right, so from this point, we want to take out, there's a 10mm bolt here and a 10mm bolt here. Whatever you do, do not mix these up. So the bolts that bolt on the condenser and the bolts that bolt on the fan are a specific length. If you get the wrong length, you will puncture the new radiator. But we're going to take these two 10 mils out here. We're going to set them to the side. We're going to lift this condenser up and see how much space we can get trying to bend it forward a little bit. Well, unfortunately, while we are able to lift and free this end, which was ideal, the driver's side, these lines are far too stiff that it just can't move. There's no play. I mean, there's some play, just not enough play.
A few moments later.
Actually, I may have found some hope yet. So if you look right there in between the two AC lines, it looks like there's a little 7mm screw that, how in tarnation are you supposed to take that out? Maybe it's a Phillips or a Torx. I think it's a Torx. Maybe like a T25 Torx or a T20 Torx. We're gonna get that screw out, and I think that screw is what's holding these lines so stiff, and then they'll have enough play to hopefully lift this condenser off and not have to evacuate the system. T25 is the answer. So right up in there, that was a T25. And it worked absolutely flawlessly. You'll see I got it loose now. It's no longer on the little slot down there. So it lifted right up, came out of there. It doesn't give us a boatload of space, but I think it will be just enough to slip that radiator out. That is the hope. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and just take these off real quick. These little like air guider plastic rubbery piece things. This side over here is completely detached already, so it's not important. It can stay where it's at. But I may pull that push pin off in the very back, but it should be push pinned up here on the side of the radiator and down here on the bottom like this. This one's just broken. You just want to make sure that's detached from the radiator. You'll be trying to figure out why this thing won't come out later. We're going to do the same thing on this side. This one's actually attached to the radiator and down to the radiator on the bottom, so we'll get that one off as well. And yeah, get that opened up. Then we're finally ready to drain this puppy and start working on the fan assembly on the other side. All right, here we go. Move into the engine side of things. So now we get to remove the entire airbox assembly. God, this is an involved radiator, ain't it? Nothing's bad. It's not hard. It's just a lot. So you're gonna come down here. You're gonna squeeze this weird inlet pipe tube and remove it, just like that. Cool. Now we will squeeze the tab up here and unplug the mass airflow sensor. Now we need to take off either here or here. I don't know where yet. We will take off one of these band clamps over at the side, and then these little metal tabs down here get clicked. And then we should be able to remove this entire little box assembly thing. There should be one more metal tab somewhere. Looks like they're all broken. Great, good, great, grand. So yeah, let's get this boot off here and then see if we can't work this puppy forward. All right, you'll see I actually pulled this entire accordion off. It gave me plenty. I needed to do that to get enough room to pull the box out. You're gonna lift it up and tilt it, and it will look like that when it comes out. Now we got the PCM in the lower half. I think you can get away with just continuing from this point, but it's so easy that I'm just going to grab my push pin puller, pop this harness up here. This is weird too with this PCM up under here. Like, what the hell were they thinking? We'll pull that push pin out right there. We'll flip the PCM up this direction. Now we got a 10mm bolt there, and the rest of it is rubber grommets that it's sitting on, I think. That's a rubber grommet there. So let me get that 10mm out, and then we should be able to pull this whole lower part of the box out. There it is. It just pops right off of these little tabs here. And that gives us plenty of space to work down in this corner now. So, now it's time for decisions. I'm gonna slide a reservoir under. There is no drain port on this radiator. You just gotta remove the lower hose. It also looks like it's collapsing kind of. This thing looks like it's seen better days, so I'm gonna need a new lower coolant hose as well. But I think we're just gonna pull it off right up here, and then let her drain underneath and see what we can catch. I may try and get that one down there, but that one looks way harder to get. But it will drain in a better spot. I don't know. Let me get my stuff in position, and then I'll make my decision then. Alright, so you'll see I decided to remove the upper side first. That's what we're going to go with. I've taken the band clamp off of it. Nice and easy to reach. Now we just got to break it free. Let's see if we can do it with our hand. Oh, we did. I got a bucket underneath. I don't know how well that bucket's going to work for me though, but we're going to try. Alright, so I just want to show you the other end of this hose. Obviously super straightforward, pop it right off. This end is a booger, man. It is in such a tight space, just banging my knuckles up trying to get to it. If you have one of these radiator removal sticks, you'll see this is a custom made extra long one, but I'll put a link to this in the description and to a radiator as well as up here in the video. But you can fish this in. If your hose is stuck, you fish it in behind it like that, and you just ream it around. And that is how you break a hose free whenever it's gummed up and stuck. But that's not the problem with this one, I don't think. This one is the band clamp. None of this stuff has space to get to, dude. It's terrible. So I might try and ride this hose out with the radiator and then do it on the new one. I'll move it over. I'm gonna get a new upper hose and a lower hose. This is the one where you can see it's been chafing on the metal and it's about to rub through, so we're gonna replace that guy and the lower hose that's all old and soft. But yeah, let's I guess just keep trekking forward for now. All right, so what I ended up deciding was to pull this rad support off the front. It has 4 15mm bolts. They pass through like this. This end that's super visible is going to be faced through that way. You do have to pull the fuse cover box off to clear this bolt right here, or it won't come out of its respective hole. But otherwise, the other 3 are completely accessible with a ratchet wrench. And now we can pull this puppy out, and that's going to give us all the room we need to get everything else off of here. So, woo-woo! All right, both coolant hoses are now off with that core support out of the way. We are on the home stretch, ladies and gentlemen. So what we need to do is we can take out this 10mm bolt holding this transmission line to the fan assembly just so it has some freedom to move. We also have a 10mm on the top of each side of the fan. This one is here, and this one is over here. So we're gonna shoot those out. The bottom of the fan has tabs just like the AC condenser did, so you just lift it up and we can set it back and just leave it in place. And that's gonna leave us just these transmission lines to take out. So what you do, and this one you gotta be very careful with, you pop these little black caps off here, and then you'll need a very fine pick tool, and we're gonna lift out this little clip here, and I'll go grab it and I'll show you what it looks like and how to do it. And so my smallest of pick tools seem to be missing currently, but hopefully you can see from where I'm gonna try and balance you right there. But you basically just take a small pick and start working your way out. There's little legs on this bracket. You flex it up like that, then you catch it with the bracket and slide it all the way out of its retaining tab, and do your absolute best not to drop it. There you go. So that's what it looks like. But they do sell replacements for these, which I will also have linked in here, and they have them at any auto parts store if you do lose them. But that is how you take them out. And then what you'll do, the new radiator should come with new ones as well. But what you do is you just pull on the line, and it should come out of the hole. Let me set this down somewhere, just in case the new one doesn't. And let me get this thing sturdied up. Can you see where I'm at? Hopefully. Oh, duh, I gotta take that 10mm out. Can't come back when it's attached to everything. There we go. Now it just pops right on out of there. You just pull it straight back. And then what you'll do is you'll put your clip in if the new one doesn't have them, but they should. And then this just pushes in and it clicks in past it and it holds it. So it's just like a push and done. Yeah, that's that. Now we're gonna unbolt the fan and lift them up and set them back. And there's one more training line below that one. That's, you can see where it goes in down there below the lower radiator output. And then this radiator's ready to lift out of this puppy finally. Woo! All right, all that work, all these things off of here, but she slid right out. We did not have to drain the condenser. So we're gonna leave this balanced up right here. I do need to go pick up the new hoses since I don't have them. We're gonna use some Scotch-Brite and clean up the tip of the thermostat end here. But yeah, from this point back on, just remember that make sure the clips are in the new radiator, and you'll just push this in and it will click in, and then you put your little caps back on and you just do everything in the inverse order of what we just did. But it came right on out of there. No draining the Freon, and it's not too bad. It's a lot of things, but none of it's hard. The lower training line's the most difficult thing, and it wasn't bad at all. You can also just kind of hook underneath the clip with a little tiny flatbed head, which is what I did on the bottom one. And voila, we're good to go. Also, let me go look at the other one real quick. I'll show you where the crack was at. I moved it out here to the scrap trailer already, but you'll see right here, there's actually like a factory line where it looks like it was made, and they had cracked right there, right up on the edge. So whenever it got under pressure, that's right where it was leaking down at. Here's something else that's crazy. Look, the end of the upper hose, it's all like corroded and gone. I don't know if it's corroded. Yeah, it looks like it. Look, that whole plastic just breaks off. Sheesh. Good thing we got a new one. So if that video helps you out, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to see more repair stuff or any of the custom things we're doing.